haven't been around. I've been busy. Um, that won't happen again. But we'll be going live in just a minute. Let's go ahead and just throw some tunes on for now until I am all ready to watch the videos. We'll be watching David Mentzer's Presby's, the Israeli spokesman for the government. They had a press briefing today on some of the stuff going on in Rafah. We'll be covering that. And we might cover Fresh and Fit's demonetization. Might watch the Abba and Preach video. But for the meantime, let's go ahead and just throw some music on until I am ready for the stream. I just love this song, so we're going to listen to this and then we're going to hop right in. I should be ready by then. Probably gonna get copyrighted for this shit anyway, right? Hey, what's going on, everyone? Kakarot Jenkins back from my 5-day hiatus. Let's cut that down. Back from my 5-day hiatus. That won't happen again. I've just been busy. If anybody really cares. So we're done with the music section there. Just to open the stream up. We're gonna go ahead with hey, what's going on, everybody? We're gonna start with the David Menser press briefing. He came out today. I think it was today or yesterday. I think it was this morning. He came up with a press briefing. So the spokesperson for the Israeli government, pro-Israeli. So I'm coming from a biased standpoint, just so you guys know. You can see the Lego Gaza shirt in the background. Fuck Hamas shirt. I'm 100% pro-Israeli. But let's just get into it. I believe he was discussing. I don't even know. I don't know. It's the destruction of the tunnel route, so I think it's about the IDF destroying that 1.5 kilometer tunnel that they found. But who knows? Let's watch it.
I do want to take you to the Israeli government briefing that is now officially underway.
Yeah, because they found that tunnel in eastern Rafah. It was like almost 2 kilometers long. It was like 1.5, 1.6 kilometers.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Shalom. I'm David
Let me not do
Menser,
that.
Israeli government.
Let me not get into that, because I don't like when other people do that. When it's like 1.5 or 1.6, and they're like, "Oh, it was almost 2," or like if somebody's 25, they're like, "Oh, they're like 30." I hate when people do that. I won't do that. It's 1.5. 1.5 or 1.6 kilometer tunnel.
Spokesman today is Thursday, the 30th of May, day 237 of the October 7th war, and our war aims haven't changed since Hamas's army of terror invaded our border to destroy Hamas's military and governing capabilities, to free all 125 hostages and ensure that Gaza will never pose a threat to Israel again. All of our objectives.
I think it's a little bit more than that. I think it's like a, as I was saying to my girl, I think it's more of a show of power for the surrounding nations, not only Hamas, but the surrounding nations. You got, who else? You got Hezbollah, the Houthis, Hamas. You got like all those Iranian, I think they're Iranian, back terror cells, because they do back quite a bit of terrorist cells. So you got a lot of Iranian backed terrorist cells around the area. I think it's more of a show of force than anything. It's just, and I know that might sound fucked up because a lot of people are like, "Oh man, there's innocent people dying. That's casualties of war. That shit happens." I'm sorry, you can't cope with it. But for the most part, I just think it's a show of power so that Hezbollah and all of them don't, you know what I mean? If you want to come in here and fuck around, you'll find out kind of shit.
Objectives are within reach. Israel will not compromise on any of them. We start today with the desperately sad news of IDF casualties. Since the outset of the war, IDF fatalities have unfortunately risen to 642. Staff Sergeant Yedidia Azugi was aged just 21 from...
Honestly, I don't care about that. Like, really, I don't care about IDF soldiers dying. That's what war is, man. I mean, and if your number's only 642, you need to get the fuck out of here with that.
Revava. He was killed in battle in northern Gaza. He leaves behind his parents and 5 brothers and sisters. Staff Sergeant Elia Hillel was 20, and from Tel Zion, he leaves behind his parents, his sisters, and
in all fairness, I don't care about it, because I don't care about IDF soldiers dying, because you got, like, you know, kids dying as casualties of war, like innocent children dying. So, like, who gives a shit about, you know what I mean? I'm pro-Israeli, but, you know, I still have, like, I still got a little humanity left, right? So yeah, I think 20, 22-year-old soldiers dying that ain't shit.
Brothers.
Like, who cares?
Staff Sergeant Diego
Don't even talk about it. You know what I mean?
Shvisha. Harsaj was 20, and from Tel Aviv, he leaves behind
Like
his
R.I.P.
parents.
But you know,
Both of them, Elia and Diego, were killed in a car-ramming terror attack in Samaria yesterday
see, that's
in the
messed
West
up.
Bank near Shechem, Nablus.
That's fucked up.
There are no words of mine that can assuage the pain of their parents and
And
families.
that's what a lot of you guys, a lot of you pro-terrorist propagandists, a lot of you is just like, poor Palestinians. And it is. Don't get me wrong. It is. The plight of the fucking Palestinian is a good one to get. It's easy to feel empathy for the Palestinian people. It really is. But it's different kinds of empathy. I empathize with the fact that they're used as tools of war, whereas you guys empathize with them being oppressed. They're an oppressed people. And the reason why I say oppressed like that with quotes is because like some of the pro-Palestinian protesters or propagandists, as I call them on Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it. A lot of you guys empathize with the occupied part. Is because like half of the people will be like, "Oh my God, Gaza was like a concentration camp. It was like a fucking open air prison, akin to a concentration camp." And the Israelis, the IDF, is something of, akin to the Nazis. I don't see it that way. But then the other half of pro-Hamas, pro-Palestinian propagandists and protesters, whatever you want to call them, protesters, supporters, propagandists, that's all the same to me. They say that Gaza was the most beautiful place before Israel fucking destroyed it. It can't both be a concentration camp and beautiful. I'm pretty sure any concentration camp in the fucking world or in history wouldn't be considered a beautiful place. So it can't be both. It's just to get people that are uninformed on your side. I understand it. Like I said, the plight of the Palestinian is an easy one to get behind. And it's hard to argue the death of children, whether they be casualties of war or not. It's super hard to get behind that. But I get behind Israel because of the history of Israel. But we won't get into that. I'm not going to keep pausing it. We're only 2 minutes in, and I've already stopped a couple times. Let's just keep going.
We embrace them and those dear families who have lost their precious heroes, sons and daughters.
If anybody wants, we can cover the Trump stuff that's up here in the corner right there. We can cover that if you want, because he was found guilty on all 34 counts.
War for our very existence. The price of war is heavy and painful. Each casualty is a world unto itself. May their memories be a blessing forever.
Even though I'm pro-Israeli, pro-Israel, I'll say that to the innocent Israelis that lost their life, innocent are the IDF soldiers that lost their life, and to the innocent Palestinians that have died as casualties of war. Honestly, rest in peace to all of them, especially the children died way too young. Unfortunately, that's war, man.
So this was why Israel targeted and eliminated the 2 Hamas henchmen on Sunday night, responsible for these attacks in Judea and Samaria, West Bank, and the shooting attack just yesterday into the Israeli village of Bat Hefer, by Palestinian terrorists shooting from Tel Karam, which is under the control of the Palestinian Authority. Every day we thwart terror attacks in Judea and Samaria, on the roads and in the communities. Israel will continue with a very strong deployment in both defense and offense to thwart terrorism and ensure the security of our residents.
They should. 100% they should.
Next, an operational update regarding our precise and targeted operation in Rafah. We are using a limited number of troops in this intelligence-led.
What I want to see is I want to see if he brings up the Al-Mawasi. Because Al-Mawasi was supposed to be a safe zone for Palestinians. I want to see if he actually brings up and gets transparent about the Al-Mawasi. Because they say, everyone keeps saying that the IDF attacked Al-Mawasi, but I don't know, man. I don't know. There's just, it's like, it's so hard to understand, like, what's misinformation, what's good information, what's just, propagandist bullshit. And you know what I mean? It's hard to tell because I don't think anybody's going to fess up to doing, you know what I mean? Ain't nobody going to fess up to their fucking war crimes. That's not going to happen.
Operation to destroy Hamas and bring home our hostages in Rafah. I can confirm reports that significantly IDF troops have operational control of the Philadelphia corridor.
Yeah,
the narrow corridor, the narrow border corridor
Rafah and Egypt.
Corridor between Egypt and Rafah. The corridor has been the Hamas lifeline. It has kept Hamas alive with their smuggled deadly weapons. We have already eliminated around 300 terrorists in Rafah in this operation so far.
All right, so at least it's not too, at least they're not
Some of them were hiding.
At least they're not just killing civilians like everyone says.
Underground, our troops fought them bravely in, quote, close quarters combat. Very, very difficult conditions. We have lost our own troops. We mentioned just yesterday 3 of our boys. Soldiers have been seriously injured, but IDF have found dozens of launchers along the corridor. Launchers loaded and ready to fire rockets. Launch pits with rockets and mortars, again loaded and ready to fire into Israel, right up against the border with Egypt. Why did Hamas place these weapons there? You see, Hamas hoped that Israel would be wary of returning fire for risk of hitting Egypt. And
that's why I said I empathize with the Palestinian people on a different level than everybody. Everybody else empathizes because innocents are dying as casualties of war. I understand that. Plight of the Palestinian over the last 77 years or 76 years. It's been crazy. I get it. Everybody can get behind that. I empathize and sympathize with, well, not sympathize, but empathize with the plight of the Palestinians as being used as weapons. I feel like that's why, like, there's refugees in, like, Jordan, Egypt, and all these places. They don't get citizenship. And I feel like they don't do that because they just use them. They use them to attack the Israelis and keep them kind of, like I said, as a tool. They use them as a tool of war. And that's why I empathize with Palestinians, because they've been used for so long by so many different nations that it's just crazy. Like it's crazy that the surrounding Arab nations treat the Palestinians like that. Everyone points the finger at Israel. Yeah, it might be. Yeah, Israel. They don't got clean hands. You know what I mean? Everybody's hands in this whole conflict are dirty. But I just don't like that the Arab nations use the Palestinian people as tools.
Last few weeks alone, Hamas has fired 70 rockets and mortars from the Rafah area. In eastern Rafah, we've uncovered extensive underground terrorist complexes. We've located around 20 tunnels in the Philadelphia corridor area. We are neutralizing them. Tunnels that were used to transfer weapons and initiate terror attacks We found large quantities of weapons, for example, anti-tank missiles, AK-47s, explosives, grenades. It's an extremely
par for the
complex
course.
environment with many terrorists. But we make this very clear. No force in the world will stop Israel from bringing all 125 hostages home and defeating Hamas.
Good.
We will not forget our hostages, not even for a moment.
Good. You shouldn't.
Now, the Hamas fake news propaganda war has certainly stepped up a gear. False
It has.
reports claim that we struck the Al-Mawasi area. I myself...
Oh, he is. He's talking about El Mawasi. Because they said that Palestinian or the Israelis were going hard on fucking El Mawasi, like they were attacking a safe area they shouldn't have been attacking.
have received requests from journalists about this issue. Our troops did not operate in the area. I say that again. Our troops did not operate in the Al-Mawasi area. In addition, I want to share with you that we have revealed documents that are available on the IDF website that during this
Maybe
war,
we'll go take a look at those.
Hamas stole 400 million shekels from the Bank of Palestine.
Damn, that's like hold on, that's like what? That's like 400 million shekels. That's got to be like 115 million dollars. That's a lot of money, man.
That's $110 million or
Yeah, look at that.
85
yeah,
million
look at the
pounds.
exchange rate.
funds that belong
I told you
to
I'm super pro Israel, so I know exchange rate and shit like that. But still, that's a lot of fucking money that they stole, man.
ordinary
They just
Gazans.
stole that shit from Gazans.
Look, Hamas has no boundaries.
That
It
garden.
exploits its own people. It hides beneath
see,
them,
honest, it's
amongst them. It steals their money from bank vaults. Without limits, Hamas will do anything to ensure its survival. All eyes on Rafah, says the campaign on social media. Well,
Well, if your eyes are on Rafa, try to find our hostages. I mean, if everybody on social media has got their eyes on Rafa, fucking look for the hostages while you're watching it.
our eyes are on Rafah, but we are tightening the noose.
Yeah, that's a good way to say
Lastly,
it
an
too.
update from our efforts to flood
At least
Gaza
he's
with
letting you
aid
guys know that they don't have no intention of stopping. None.
and counter Hamas's efforts to increase the civilian suffering there. 335 humanitarian aid trucks went into Gaza just yesterday. 5 tankers, that's
And
267,000.
that's another shit that the humanitarian crisis there is pretty crazy too. That I heard that Hamas has been like stealing the trucks, and then like I seen it from a video from a Gazan, like from a person in Rafah. Like the dude was in Rafah, he was taping the video at the market, and said that when Hamas gets the humanitarian aid in, that it hits the market at like unbelievable prices. But when Israel and he said the infidels, he was talking about America, you know what I mean? Talking about Americans. He said when the Jews and infidels send humanitarian trucks in, for some reason the market price or the prices at the market lower exponentially. When the Jews and the infidels bring humanitarian aid in. But when Hamas was coordinating with Egypt to bring it in, that the price at the markets was like insane because Hamas was like overcharging the shit out of people for humanitarian aid. And I don't. That's why I just don't that's why I call everybody propagandists, because I don't understand why nobody asks Hamas like these questions. Everyone always questions what Israel's doing. What about the humanitarian aid? What about this? What about that? But nobody stops to ask Hamas, why haven't you coordinated more humanitarian aid? Why haven't you cordoned off a safe area in which you don't operate militarily out of, any military operations out of a safe zone for the Palestinians, for your people that you're supposed to govern and keep safe? Why haven't they built anything for the people? Why haven't they done anything for the people? Why is the onus always on Israel for some reason? Why ain't Israel doing this? Why ain't they doing that? Why ain't Hamas doing it? I mean, he just said they stole 400 million shekels. You know what I mean? Like, why haven't you done anything for the people? Like, when humanitarian aid does hit the markets, why is it so expensive? And that's not coming from me. That's coming from a dude, a Palestinian in Rafah. He even admitted it. He said there was like 17, like, I don't want to overestimate. I'm not sure if he said 1,700 or 170 to 200, or if it was 1,700 to 2,000 humanitarian aid trucks came in from a coordinated effort with Hamas in Egypt. And the markets were like unbelievably overpriced for everything at the markets. They weren't getting certain humanitarian aid. But then when only 75 trucks came in from the Jews and infidels, the prices just dropped drastically. Why is it that why are the Jews and the infidels doing more for humanitarian aid than Hamas is? I just don't know why people don't ask these questions. I don't know why people don't question Hamas on why they're doing what they're doing. Like, if you know Rafah and El Mawasi is the last safe haven for your fucking people, the last location that they could push before they get pushed into the fucking sea, why don't you not operate out of it? Maybe not shoot long-ranged fucking missiles out of central Rafah into Tel Aviv? Maybe? Why? I don't know. I don't know why people don't ask these questions. I don't know why people just point the finger at Israel and be like, oh, you're the bigger, mightier force. Like, I've seen it all. Like, Gaza doesn't have an air force or a navy or an army. Okay, well, then why the hell did Hamas do what they did? And I know it goes back 76 years. You could say that shit. You could say it didn't happen in a vacuum. It's not just October 7th. It's the big grand scheme of things. Well, then why the fuck didn't the Palestinians just take what they fucking offered in 47 partition from the UN? Why did they decide to go grab a couple Arab nations and go to fucking war with the Jews? You lost. They staked claim to the land that they just spilled blood for and don't want to give it up. I don't blame them. Why doesn't anybody talk about the 20 years from the 40s, I think, until the 60s, when Egypt had control of Gaza and they were still occupied? I mean, their own surrounding Arab nations occupied them before Israel occupied them. I don't know why people don't ask these questions. I don't know why people just don't get it. I don't get why everything is Israel's fault.
Liters of fuel for essential
I don't understand
Gaza infrastructure went in. Israel has ensured,
and it's not from not having an understanding of the issues and the problems and the history and the, we can argue the history all the way back to the 1800s if you want. I mean, it don't matter, because when you do, everybody just seems like they debate me in bad faith. I'm just a little guy. I ain't even that big of a streamer, but they debate me in bad faith. Like, they don't talk about the time when, Egypt, when Egypt had control of Gaza. They don't talk about how Israel left Gaza completely. Every Jew was out of Gaza by 2006. Every single one. And what happened? It got worse. It's not like Hamas was trying to build up some kind of like political diplomacy or any kind of infrastructure or any kind of economic fucking, infrastructure. They didn't do shit. They didn't do shit for the Gazans. But then Israel's to blame for all of it.
Continuity of fuel supply. All that is needed are requests through the relevant channels, and we always
don't understand
facilitate
that
them.
shit at all.
Always. 41 trucks were transferred to northern Gaza. 2 UNFPA, that's the UN Population Fund, mobile maternity rooms were transferred to Gaza yesterday. We continue to expand our effort to facilitate aid, medical aid into and across Gaza. You know, since the beginning of this war,
Hamas needs to help out, too.
31,000 trucks
Can't just be on
delivering
Israel and America to
600,000
keep,
tons
you know.
of humanitarian aid have entered Gaza. More food and aid enters the Gaza Strip every single day. 80% more food compared to what was imported to Gaza before October 7th. So that's the end of our briefing today. I will now take your questions, which you should put in the chat with your
Should
news
we listen
outlet.
to the question Q&A
I'll be
too?
reading the questions today. First question from
He's got to
Dan.
read the questions. He's got to read the questions because they ain't got no journalists over there right now.
Dan Williams at Reuters. Israeli media are reporting that Mossad has uncovered an Iranian-backed cell which has carried out attacks in Europe and is planning more ahead of the Paris Olympics. Can you confirm and provide details? So thank you very much for that question, Dan. I haven't got anything more to add to those media reports. What I can tell you is that Israeli security services have worked with European security services to prevent attacks on European soil. I know this for a fact. This is already public knowledge that in the UK, for instance, Israeli security forces has prevented the deaths, has saved the lives of many Brits across the UK from these same Iranian terrorist activity. So I can't add any more on that specific case about the Paris Olympics, but I certainly can confirm that Israeli security services have in the past supported
Iranian-backed terror
security
cells,
services to save lives, particularly against Iranian terrorists. The next question from Dan Williams is, Israel's expected to restart mediated hostage release talks this week. When and where will that happen? So again, thank you for that question, Dan. I can confirm that the Prime Minister and the War Cabinet has agreed for negotiations to continue when it comes to releasing our hostages. We know what's been effective in the past. In November, for instance, it's a combination of sustained military pressure
Hamas is not
on
going
Hamas,
for
which we are
releasing
currently
any
doing,
hostages
in Rafah and across Gaza, together with negotiations. The negotiators have been given instructions by the Prime Minister and the Security Cabinet to do everything that they possibly can to get our people home. It's a shocking human rights abuse every single moment of the day that our stolen people remain. It's one of our war aims, and we will.
Or was that the video?
Stolen people remain.
Okay, that's the video. That's not me.
It's one of our war aims, and we will bring these people home. Next question here from Joel Pollack at Breitbart News. South Africa's ruling party, the African National Congress, or ANC, is projected to lose its majority for the for the first time since yesterday's election. And after running a campaign that emphasizes, does Israel believe there's a connection between the ANC's opposition to Israel and the poor vote result? So, Joel, thank you very much for that question. I will resist the opportunity to interfere in South African internal politics and their elections. That's obviously up to South Africa's people to choose who it wishes to rule over them. What I can say is that the South African government, in supporting, in initializing and championing the effort to prosecute Israel at the ICJ, was simply an effect to act as a pro bono lawyer for the terrorist organization of Hamas. It was an outrageous, quite frankly, shocking attempt by a state which was unfortunately held in very high regard in this country. I need remind you that so many Jews accompanied Nelson Mandela on his long walk to freedom, and to have that state, South Africa, acting in partnership with Iran and other negative forces around the world, detrimental forces around the world, was a shocking development. So I won't get involved in internal politics of South Africa, but none of us here in Israel will forget that South Africa were the pro bono lawyers for Hamas's case against us. Next question from Leo Soroka at the Washington Post. Excuse me. According to OCHA, the flow of humanitarian aid supplies into Gaza has dropped by 67% since 7th of May. Since the operation in Rafah, any comment? Kogat is not answering. Thank you very much for that question, Leo. So every single day of these briefings, we've been giving you the figures of the aid trucks going in every single day. And they are going up and up and up. An average of around 300. Yesterday with 400. Sometimes it's down to 250. But every single day, those aid trucks
just
are going
that, like what he just did right there, where he said, oh, yesterday it was 400. It was only like 300 and something. I think it was like 335 or something like that. It wasn't even no closer to 400. It wasn't even close. It was closer to 300 than 400.
Have gone in, and they've gone in for the simple reason that we know that Hamas steals the aid, and we know that they keep them for themselves. There's no one hungry in Hamas. It's very important to remember that. When we've arrested them, they've certainly had no problems with their waistline whatsoever.
Yeah, the
Hamas
last
steal the
two
aid,
Hamas
and
dudes
sometimes
they
they sell it
killed
back onto
were
the black
like,
market for vastly
I don't know,
inflated
they
prices.
look like they've been
But we've
eating
managed
well
to
for
lower
a
the
long
prices
time.
on the markets inside
I mean,
Gaza,
I'm a
which
big guy,
pictures
but
can
they
show you
look
that
like
on
they were eating
the
good for a
Kogat
long
Twitter feed every
time.
single day of bustling markets. Prices have gone down precisely because we have flooded the area with food. We've pushed as much food as we possibly can get in. Whoever's donated aid to Gazans, we have tried our hardest to facilitate it getting in. The only change that there has been is when Hamas itself have bombed the Kerem Shalom crossing, where so much of the aid has gone in. And even then, we have reopened the Kerem Shalom crossing as soon as we possibly have been able to. And we've also pushed aid in through
Yeah, and everyone just keeps thinking it's Israel that's bombing humanitarian aid convoys and crossings and safe ways, and I don't.
northern crossings at Erez, and in every other way through land, sea, and air.
I would really like
aid
to
is going all
talk
the time.
to somebody
I
that's
simply don't
pro
recognise that as
Hamas
being,
and see.
correct. And I'm sure Kogat will get back to you.
I don't know. I'm
Next
open to
question
debate.
from Hannah
I'm open
Julian
to
of the
debate
Jewish
if
Press.
anybody wants to talk.
There's two questions
about
here. The first one is, excuse me, how is the UNRWA bill that passed its first reading this week different from the ban that was passed in February? Can you comment on the proposed legislation? Thank you, Hannah. I've seen those reports about the Knesset bill here in Israel to ban UNRWA. I can't comment specifically on the particulars of that particular bill.
I don't
What
know
can
about
share-
banning UNRWA, but I know that they did find a Hamas tunnel under an UNRWA specified building. At least that's what the report said. I think there's a video on it if you search for it. I'm pretty sure there is, where it showed him like going in and showing you the tunnel and stuff like that and where it was located. But I think it was right under, I think the tunnel, they dug a hole into a tunnel that was like right under the UNRWA building, one of the UNRWA buildings.
Share with you is what we have shared with the United Nations, actually, that UNRWA has operated hand in hand with Hamas through so many ways. Firstly, through UNRWA employees actively participating in the October 7th massacre, through UNRWA employees actually holding on to our hostages, sometimes live and even dead hostages, through the cooperation of Hamas putting their server farm underneath UNRWA's headquarters, through the fact that Sinwar himself, Yahya Sinwar himself, was a senior
cut the feed
UNRWA,
on the bottom
trade
down
union,
over here
official,
to,
for a long
to
time,
Israel-Gaza
not so long ago.
border. So I was like, that's weird. You guys cut the video for
employees of UNRWA are also members of Hamas. Look, we've laid the evidence out so clearly about the relationship with UNRWA. And I tell you what gets me personally is that international media continue to use spokespeople from UNRWA to give them an idea of what's happening in Rafah, for instance. UNRWA is a tainted operation. They are very inefficient. They bring the reputation of the United Nations down because of their
just like the ICJ
inefficiency and their ineptitude. And of course, they continue to run schools, and they have run schools for many years, that promote anti-Semitism, they promote Jew hatred, and also the lie that, of course, that Palestinians will one day be able to erase Israel off the face of the map, that Palestinian children...
That's one thing they need to stop. People need to stop talking to Palestinians like they have something to gain from fighting, because they don't. They can't outmuscle Israel. At some point you're just going to have to give it up, man. Like, honestly, just give it up and accept it. Like, accept the fact that you're not going to be able to eradicate the Jews, and that's it. Just do what you can. And people go, oh, the Jews don't. They wanna get rid of all the Palestinians. They don't like Arabs. They don't like that. Do these same people? Don't know if they're sure what they're saying, because there's over 2 million Israeli Arabs. Over or 2 million Arabs gained citizenship in Israel. They have no problem living side by side as long as it's inside of a Jewish state. And it shouldn't matter if it's a Jewish state or a Palestinian state. It really shouldn't matter. You know what I mean? Like that's just the location. It shouldn't matter. Like it shouldn't matter if it's Palestinian run or Israeli run. I feel like if you gave all that land to the Palestinians, they'll fuck it up in like 2 years anyway. I mean, look what happened. Israel backs out of Gaza 2006. Hamas shortly after, a couple years after that, Hamas takes the reins. I think it was like 2008, 2009. Hamas took the fucking government. Instead of working with the Palestinian Authority, they like couped the Palestinian Authority. And through election, they actually got the governorship of Gaza. And it all went down fucking hill. The same thing will happen. You can't say the same thing won't happen, because 90% of Palestinians 2 months after October 7th agreed with what happened, agreed with what Hamas did on October 7th. Mario guy. You can't just say that Palestinians will do right, because they had a chance to do right when Israel pulled out of Gaza completely in 2006, and look what happened. They gave Hamas the reins, and then 90% after October 7th said that, they were with the attacks. They agree with what Hamas did. They'll do it again. You give them a bigger population. You like the people go, oh, they ain't got a navy, they don't got an air force, they don't got an army. Yeah, if they had those three things, October 7th would have been way worse than it was. You can't say it wasn't 90% of Palestinians agreed with it. You can't say that it wouldn't have been worse. It would have.
And will be able to go back to and live.
And so what Israel's doing to me is justified, because not only did the October 7th stuff happen that kicked this round of violence off. I know it's not. I know people say it's not. October 7th didn't happen in a vacuum. No, but it definitely kicked this round of violence off. And what was it? What was I saying? I just lost my train of thought. But anyway, they would if you would have gave them the ability to do so, they said I think it was on October 7th or after. It was in the first couple days. Hamas's leader came out and said that they're going to keep doing it again and again. And if 90% of the Palestinian population in Gaza agree with you, it's definitely going to keep happening. So Israel needs to do what they're doing right now, because, nobody should be subjected to terrorism. And you can't call the IDF terrorists. You can't say, oh, well, except for the Palestinians, because of the IDF. IDF is an armed force. This is a war. You can't start a war and then play fucking victim after you're losing. You can't just start a war and when you start to lose, immediately try playing the victim card. You can't do that. Like, I can't run up to somebody, punch him in the fucking face, and he knocks my teeth out, and then I run to the police and say, this dude just knocked my teeth out. Well, I shouldn't have ran up and started shit with him. It's the same thing. You can't run up and do some shit and then cry victim after some shit happens to you. You can't.
The state of Israel in Jaffa and Rafah, in Haifa and in Jaffa.
People that want to say it went back to 40, it goes back to 48. Yeah, well, the Arabs declared war on the Jews, not the other way around. Yeah, some of the Jewish leaders at the time, some of the figureheads of the Jews were Zionist and did not want to live side by side with Arabs, but for the most part accepted the partition to live side by side. The Arabs unanimously declined, then went and got the backing of, I think, 3 or maybe 4 other surrounding Arab nations at the time, and declared war against the Jews. And it just so happened that the Jews had, some of the Jewish people had fought in wars already and were well trained, and they were better off. They stood their ground, spilled a lot of blood, but stood their ground and took the land. They staked claim to it, saying, we spilled blood for it. We're not going to give you anything now. We're not going to go back to the partition. We're not going to go back to no borders because we gave you the chance. The UN, proposed a side-by-side solution. And, for the most part, the Jews were okay with it. Not all of them, because like I said, back then, Zionism was a little bit more prevalent than it is these days, more obviously, like, in your face with Zionism back in the day. So some of the Jewish leaders were against it, yeah, but they ultimately agreed to the partition. The Arabs are the ones that declined it completely and declared war against the Jews and lost. And that's happened time and time again. Like, I know that there's been little attacks from Israel towards Palestinian or Arabs in, like, the West Bank and the Golan Heights and stuff like that or whatever. I think it was the Golan Heights. I might be wrong about that. But I know definitely the West Bank. So I know that, yeah, I'm not saying the Jews are 100%, you know what I mean, like, innocent. They're not. But if I spilled blood for something, I wouldn't immediately just give it up. Especially after I was like, here, we could do this right now. Just shake my hand. And then they spit in your face and try to attack you. You're not going to come at them with that same, hey, I just shake my hand and it's yours. You're not going to come back with that same that same energy. You know what I mean? You're not. After they spit in your face and attack you, you're probably going to want to just keep whatever it is you guys were talking about.
Is instead of educating for coexistence
That goes with
and peace, they
anyone. It goes for
perpetuate
anyone in
this
anyone's
conflict. So
country. They would
the
do the
sins
same
of
thing.
UNRWA are clear for everyone to see. Yes, of course, it's headed notionally by Philip Lazzarini in Geneva, but it's the UNRWA Hamas henchmen on the ground which really call the shots. And really, it's about time that this dreadful organization that perpetuates this conflict, that has kept Gazans in misery for all these years, is disbanded, and genuine aid agencies are able to use the generous funds which the Gazans get from the international community and not sink it into the ground, this terror tunnel network, twice the size of the London Underground, and instead build up institutions. Hospitals, schools, better roads, better healthcare facilities for ordinary Gazans to give Gazans a better future. Second question from Hannah Julian of the Jewish Press. What was the target that was attacked yesterday in Banyas, where Syria says 1 child and 10 civilians were wounded? Thank you, for Hannah. I haven't seen that report, and I don't know the answer to that question. I suggest you would ask the IDF, who may have some more information on that. Next question from Jim Williams of Zenka International News. Does the Prime Minister agree with the National Security Advisor, Tzachi Hanegbi, that the war with Hamas could last into 2025? So thank you very much for that question.
Oh my God, that would be nuts. I'm sorry. If this shit went on for another 7 more months, that would be fucking wild.
Look, Jim, our war aims remain the same. They are to remove Hamas from power, to strip away any of its governing or military capabilities, to bring home our hostages, and to, of course, to make sure that Gaza never again poses a threat to this country or to anyone in the civilized world ever again. We will keep going until the job is done. And I tell you the reason for that is that we simply refuse to live next to this genocidal organization. Israelis, when they go to bed...
And they shouldn't have to live surrounded by terrorist cells that are going to constantly keep attacking them. Because if you look at it, Israel surrounded by Arab nations that don't like them.
At night, need to
There's
be sure
a lot of Iranian-backed terrorist cells.
Will not be murdered at 6:30 a.m. The following morning, as they were on October the 7th. We need to be sure that this genocidal, murderous organization, wherever it is in Gaza...
Although I will say that it was definitely 100% a security fault on Netanyahu. Somebody should have seen that shit coming. And it shouldn't have took the IDF, was it like 6 hours to respond or some shit? Shouldn't have took that long.
Or in the West Bank is obliterated and defeated. So that brings us to the end of this of today's briefing. We'll have another briefing for you on...
Like, no bullshit, I almost feel like once they were inside attacking Netanyahu, it was just kind of like, fuck it. Let's take a little bit of time to respond, because that gives us all the more reason to invade Gaza. Because that's what I mean. Israel's got nothing but gains from fighting. Like, for the Palestinians, what do they get? What do they get out of the conflict from fighting? Nothing. Death. Less land. What does Israel get? They can push back. Boy, they can push borders. gain territory, expand settlements. They got all the means to do so. They got all the power to do so, and they're backed by the U.S. You know, because I live in the U.S. We're a bank disguised as a country. So what do they got? Nothing. They get nothing but mad money from us. All their weapons. They got nothing but to gain. They got everything to gain from it. That's why I don't know why people keep trying to like gas up the Palestinians like they got something to gain from fighting, because they don't. They don't at all. But yeah. Yeah, well, the next thing I was gonna get into is the Fresh and Fit demonetization. Abba and Preach had a video about Fresh and Fit. But if anybody wants to jump on and talk Israel Palestine, I am right here. I'll give you my Discord and we can talk. If you got like I don't know, issues with the things I say, I guess. I don't know. A lot of people do. But yeah, I guess Fresh and Fit called their fans brokies because they were not donating. And their channel's demonetized. I guess they're losing money. I guess they're leaking money bad. And Fit is throwing a fit.
Another day, another.
And I love Abba and Preach. If you're not subscribed to them, subscribe to them after you subscribe to me, of course. I mean, come on now. Gotta help a brother out, right? But yeah, let's get into
They're Fresh and Fit L.
Again!
Oh my God, did you? I watched that one live. I saw that live when he broke the cut. That's when he started melting down after he was boasting Pug up. Pug CEO. I fucking hate Fresh and Fit. Just so you know, I think Myron Gaines is a piece of shit. I think Walter's a piece of shit. I mean, I think Daisy's a piece of shit too. That bitch is twisted with the whole pregnancy thing. She wasn't gonna have that baby. She was just starting shit. That's what I look at. I look at it as she was just starting shit with the man. But he was a little faggot for saying that yeah, F slur. I F slur and R slur bad. I don't give a shit. He did that faggot shit by saying like trying to get her to get rid of the baby kind of thing. I think if you make a baby, you should be a man, take care of that shit. But apparently he doesn't think the same. But she was gonna have a fucking abortion anyway. I think she was just doing that for like either clout, just so people like know who she is now, like for sure, or I know she was already kind of big in like the modeling industry. I guess I don't really know. I don't watch. I don't creep on bitches like that. But yeah, I think she was just mainly just doing that shit for clout. But he was kind of like a fuckboy, trying to say like he wasn't gonna take care of the baby kind of thing. That was kind of that's not a man. That's a fucking little boy piece of shit. Yeah, I watched this live. This is when he was sticking up for him, when everybody was going at Fresh for trying to dodge the baby.
By the way, if you're a brokey in the chat, I'll call you a brokey just because you don't want to.
See, that's fucked up. I hate it when what's that bitch? I hate that bitch, Pokey, man. When she did that, when she was talking about her cookies, and she was like, "Well, if you're too broke to buy them, fuck you. Them shits are like $12 a bag. Bitch, I can get cookies way cheaper than that. Like way cheaper. Who's gonna spend $10, $12 on a bag of your fucking rebranded cookies. And that was the problem that everybody had with it. It wasn't the price. It wasn't that it was the price, and it wasn't an original item. Like, you had like literally rebranded those fucking cookies, and that's all you did. You didn't like make some like cutting edge dietary cookie or healthy cookie that still tastes great. You rebranded a fucking cookie and then acted like you had fucking like done all this fucking glorious work and all this hard work into making this cookie, and you just fucking rebranded the package. That's all you did. That's it. And then you upcharge the shit out of them by like $6 a bag, and that's literally it. And then you gotta call people broke because they don't want to pay for your fucking overpriced rebranded dull ass cookies. Just like this little fucker. You're gonna call people broke because they don't want to donate money to you because you guys are fucking in the red every month now because your red pill agenda don't work no more.
On support. That's understandable. What I will say though is like when you see the value in the Castle Club, you're like, damn, you know what?
Yeah.
I need to be a part of that.
Your motivation pushed me to start
And the
and grow my
Castle
business. I
Club.
appreciate you guys. That's what we're talking about, bro. No brokey shots. You see Avery. Notice how the guys that make money don't complain about the Castle Club is the important.
Like, literally, that's all they do. You see that? That's all they do right there. Right there. All they do is sit there and call whores whores. That's literally what they do. They just get a bunch of whores on there and yell at them about how they're nasty whores.
You see Avery. Notice how the guys that make money don't complain about the Castle Club is the important.
Calling your
Is
fans
wild.
brokey is crazy.
Calling them brokies and then saying
because
they're
they don't
poor.
want to pay you.
The boys released a video saying the end of Fresh and Fit, we quit.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
Are they quitting?
So you guys like, but why are you saying that like you're happy, like you're praying for their downfall? It's because I am.
So we ended up getting
Just 'cause
demonetized,
I
right,
am.
guys? And as you guys know, that we got demonetized August of last year.
Because I am.
Sucky situation. But Rumble had our back. As you guys know, we scaled up the podcast to a certain point where
How much do people make? I don't stream on Rumble. I stream on Twitch, X, YouTube, and Kick. I don't stream on Rumble, so I don't know like how much a partnership, if they have one, or if Rumble does partnerships, how much you make. I've heard it's significantly less than YouTube. But I don't know. I don't really know about it. I'm new to the streaming gig. I just started this like 2 months ago. Not even a full 2 months ago.
we're at a certain level where we have bring a certain quality to the show. Chris brings you guys new girls every show. There's a lot of moving parts, right? We have a team probably of around, 20 people, I would say?
Oof.
In an ideal world, would I love to just give you guys all the free content we could? Of course, bro. I would love to do it. But at the end of the day, guys, it's a business. We got people that we got to take care of, and we gotta support Rumble. A part of the after hours will go on Castle Club, guys. Right.
No content is free. None. You're paying something. Whether you sit down and they do like a 2-3 hour podcast with some stupid fucking ditzy OF bitches, you're gonna, if you spend 2-3 hours, you just spent 2 or 3 hours of your time, valuable time to some, watching their shit. Nothing's free.
Right? But we're gonna make it affordable for you.
Even those of you sitting here, if you are sitting here watching me right now, I mean, that shit is your time being eaten up watching me talk about these fucking halfwits. You know what I mean?
Guys, we lowered the price down to $17 per month. If you get in now for the next 48 hours, you're going to go ahead and have that forever. Your grandfather in.
Yep.
Because we're going to raise the price actually from 17 to 35 after Wednesday. And the reason for that,
So now they're gonna put him behind a paywall at $35 a
They're
month.
paywalling all their
For
shit.
them to yell at the whores and be like, "You're dumb. Who wants to pay $35 a month?"
Literally, you can go watch whatever podcast at that point. I mean, whatever, Brian with the whatever podcast, shout out to whatever podcast. Subscribe to them after me if you haven't. Always got to throw that in there. And if you want to donate, it's in the description over at Streamlabs. That'd be awesome if you did. Hope you do. If not, whatever. But Yeah.
Well, the fans are not happy with it.
They're you could just do Brian and with whatever podcast they pretty much do the same thing. They bring on some OF girls and they ridicule them about, you know, how it's not the Christian thing to do and all that other shit. Get their takes on stuff. I watch it occasionally. I mean, I'm not, like I said, I don't really care. I don't invest my time watching stuff about bitches. Like I don't really care about OF bitches. I mean, why am I gonna watch a podcast where they're just dogging out some OF girls? If I want to do that, I'll just do that shit myself because I think that shit is gross anyway. I feel like the girls that sell their bodies, that's really all they got going for them. If you got to sell your pussy, it's because you you lack brain cell. You know what I mean? You lack brain cells in order to talk about anything or to bring anything to the table intellectually or intelligently to the world at all. So yeah, you pop your ass on OF because fucking you can't, what you got between your ears ain't good enough to bring to the world. So,
They in the comment section just ripping them
and
apart.
there's a couple different people that do that. I mean, I think whatever paywall some stuff, but not all of it. I don't know how Fresh and Fit does their shit because I don't really watch them.
Lied to us. You said you would never go behind a paywall, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, but
I stopped
they
watching
have
it
no
after
choice.
Myron Fit was like, talking shit about people, and I thought it was really funny that he does that gay shit and then act like it was like boys being boys. No, I don't think so. I don't know, boys
It's
being
easy to
boys.
say, we'll
I ain't
never
never
go
let
behind
any of my boys hug up on me like that.
a paywall when you have
Not
options.
never.
When you have all options and everything, and you're monetized.
I'm 1,000% comfortable with my sexuality, and I ain't never let a motherfucker hug on me like that.
No, we'll never go to
Nope.
behind a paywall. But now that's pretty much the only option that they got.
And there's no reason to feel sad for them, because when asked if he regrets it, he said no.
In retrospect, are there any regrets in not managing the
I
transition?
thought he was
mixing
like,
the
I
nighttime
thought he
show-
was like mad rich. Like, didn't I see like a bunch of clips of this dude screaming about how much residual income he makes every year, and he's worth like millions and millions of dollars, and he makes this money through real estate on top of money on this, on top of this, on top of this, on top of this, on top of this. So what's he crying? Why are they talking about quitting after losing millions if you make millions a year in residual income?
with Stewie, you shoot yourselves in the foot by mismanaging. Is any regrets? If you're gonna ask me personally, no regrets, man. I got 20 real estate properties, so I could tell my net worth is over $6 million. I get money residually. I don't need to do this shit. I don't need to make a fucking cent off this podcast. I'm fine. My real estate will take care of me, so I can sit here and tell you, you. We need you guys to support us on Rumble. If you guys want us to keep making this content, I'm not going anywhere. I'm gonna say what the I want to say, and I don't care what anybody got to say. I cannot be bought. Just like we've saved you guys, we need you guys to save us. I have my soul. I have. I really do.
I was just saying this.
If you're gonna ask
just
me personally,
saying
no.
this.
No regrets, man. I got 20 real estate properties, so I could tell my net worth is over $6 million. I get money residually. I don't need to do this shit. I don't need to make a fucking cent off this podcast. I'm fine. My real estate will take care of me, so I can sit here and tell you. We need you guys to support us on Rumble. If you guys want us to keep making this content, I'm not going anywhere. I'm gonna say what the I want to say, and I don't care what anybody got to say. I cannot be bought. Just like we've saved you guys, we need you guys to save us. I have my soul. I have my spine. I have my integrity. I got my 10 toes and my 2 feet, and I stand where I'm gonna stand. And if I die there, I'll die there with a smile on my face, because I can look in the mirror and be happy with the man that I see. You pussy mother. You fucking losers that sit there and say, "Oh, it's getting rocky, Myron." Hey, shut the fuck up.
Fucking raging and crying about
I
it.
left a job that I truly loved to do this, right? Because
That's why I don't like him. He talked like he was like he he's got so much money and he's better than everyone. And now you're on here begging motherfuckers on Rumble to donate.
I shouldn't be admitting this, but saving children, right? That was great. But saving you guys is better.
Oh, fuck off. Saving children is great, but saving you guys from the 304s is so much better than saving the poor children. Saving your pockets from the whores is so important. It's the most important thing. It means more to me. The fuck out of here. Trying to prey on sympathies to fucking get people to donate. Please, guys, donate to my stream. Please. Please. I can't make rent. Please. Please donate. I gotta go cry. I gotta go cry in my short shorts. I gotta go cry in my short shorts. Look at Fresh. Look at Fresh. He's trying to be sad. He's trying to be sad. Look at that shit. The Pepe face. He's got that Pepe fucking frog face, man. But
Beta girl.
Man, are you really gonna quit law enforcement? Yeah, saving children. That's cool. But reminding whores that they're whores? That's even better.
oh fucking god,
Somebody give me
man.
some Fresh and Fit merch so I can cry into it. We ain't got no tissues or clothes in here. I distinctly remember him saying he doesn't give a shit. He'll do whatever he wants, which is fine. You can do whatever you want, but your employer might fire you. And then when they fire you and you gotta beg for scraps after the fact, don't think anyone's gonna feel sympathy for you. You want to be out with your chest out. This is like the OnlyFans girls who do OnlyFans forever and then they're like, oh, I'm mentally fucked up. This is the same thing. This is the idiot who thinks he could get away with saying anything and doing anything. Then he gets fired. Now he's begging for scraps. And now he feels bad. He's like, well, guys, I can't quit. Yeah, I'm financially set, but my employees, who's going to take care of them?
We make it look easy.
Should have
guys,
thought
but, like,
about
we
that
have to
shit.
do that.
Should have thought about who was going to take care of your employees before you started saying all the dumb shit you were saying, but get fucking departnered and demonetized from YouTube and get your partnership cut.
Work for us that legit have a need and depend on us.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for this current platform right now, they wouldn't eat. Neither their kids.
You should have thought of that before you were a idiot on camera, right? See what happens when you're a leader? You have other people you have to take responsibility for.
Should have thought about
But
that.
because you want to be goofy on screen, you cost all of them their potential salary with this move.
Yep.
And a lot of the fans are not going to translate over to your paywall, and justifiably so. This whole idea that we do content for free.
At the end of the day, bro, if you don't want to support, it's fine.
Yeah, you don't have to.
But support as well.
Well, don't sit there and call us fucking money grabbers when we've been doing this shit for free for
You
3
are.
fucking plus years, giving you guys content, and we're still gonna continue.
You're
to give you
literally
content
on
for
there
free.
trying to like
The content we
get
do
people to like
is not for free. Your fans,
like hit people
my
with
fans,
the hit
everyone
people
who's
in
a
the
viewer,
fields to
they're
try to
paying.
get them to get you money. I mean,
they pay for the
that's
time. They pay for the viewership of the ads.
that's what
They
you just
pay- they're
did. I
paying.
mean, trying
They're
to say
paying
that
either for you-
you save the children, but saving yous are better. He said that shit for money. He got up and walked away because he couldn't fucking cry if he wanted to. He couldn't have a fucking an empathetic bone in his body if he tried, unless it's his boyfriend in his ass. Then he'll have an empathetic bone in his body. But other than that, no.
YouTube Premium, which means that goes to you. That's not free. Or they're paying through ad time, which is the advertisers basically being able to sell them products. So they end up paying for the products in the long run. Everybody pays for these content. There's nobody who's not paying. There's no such thing as free content.
Yeah,
And
but just
everybody
saying
has a
that
boss.
too.
Your motivation pushed me to start.
There's no such thing
and
as
grow my
free
business.
content. You're either paying money, donating, subscribing to channels, like on kicking stuff or whatever, or you're spending your time. Like I know it's not a cost. I mean, it is a cost, but it's not like a financial cost, but that sidetracked me. Yeah, you're using your time, which is, time is money. That's what everybody says. Time is money. So you're either spending time and or money or both. So nothing's really free.
That's what we're talking about, bro. No broke.
Even to anybody watching me right
Those
now,
are the guys that
nothing's
make
really
money. Don't
free.
complain about the Castle Club. It's the important.
By the way, if you're a brokey in the chat, I'll call you brokey just because you don't want to support. That's understandable. What I will say though is like when you see the value in the Castle Club, you're like, damn, you know what?
Yeah.
I need to be a part of that.
He called them brokies.
That's messed up. I'm sorry. Just to call anybody that's like a fan base brokies, like they had how many people watching? 25,000. Over 25,000 people fucking watching you and you're calling them broke. That's fucking fucked up. Like, that's numbers I wish I could have. But I wouldn't be calling you guys brokies. I wouldn't fucking do that. Like, that's low. That's real fucking low. That's like that one bitch.
He called them brokies.
I can't stand. I already said that. I can't stand that.
Calling
Bitch.
someone a
But to
brokey
just call your fan base
when
broke
you
is just
asked
fucked up.
them to
Man.
please pay for my staff.
Yeah.
Calling your
is
fans
wild.
brokey is
Calling
crazy.
a fan a brokey because they don't want to pay you for you to pay your fan because you can't pay your
fucked up.
fans yourself is crazy.
I distinctly remember these guys and so many other red pill dudes ripping Pokemon apart because she said that about her fans about her cookies. You remember that?
Yeah.
yes.
If
Well,
you're
Fresh
too
and
broke
Fit,
to buy
Just
them,
pearly things and every the loser in the red pill
if you're
space
too
are
broke
taking
to
L's.
buy the cookies,
We want you guys to
she
get
said.
some W's.
I mean,
with
she
today's
didn't call
sponsor,
them
Surfshark.
brokies. I think she said
Couple
if you're a
of
broke
reasons.
boy
Summer
and you
is
can't
coming.
afford it.
Yeah, and a lot of you like to go on
We
vacation
don't
in the
care
summer.
about
That's
Surfshark,
just logic,
though. We're
right?
going to get
And you know,
past Surfshark.
and
It's not about the money.
30-day money back warranty. Get it.
It's not about the money, man.
Yeah.
It really isn't about the money, man. I could walk away from all this and be okay.
Today.
I don't think they see it.
Hey,
I
look at
don't think there's a lot of things they see. I don't think they see the fact of why they got demonetized. I think it's really because they were saying the truth and not the wild shit that you did and all this try that you try to do. Like your name kept coming up in a negative way
Bro.
in the eyes of YouTube. They don't even see that. They see it's really no man. It's freedom of speech. You see that. So I don't even think I don't think they even see that they're doing the same thing. But whatever.
Freedom of speech. But isn't these guys who did the copyright strikes?
Yes.
I falsely hundreds.
Yes.
Trying to get a bunch of channels deleted because they didn't like what the channels were saying. Funny, if you guys you go to these guys' chats and you're critical of them, they just censored you.
Damn.
Advised by a bunch of people.
Look at all them
I'll just
removed
start
by
banning you guys. We
moderators.
should just start banning y'all, honestly, because you guys are paid to
Can't
come in
even
and
say
purposely
nothing
hate
to
what we got
them.
going on. Because Alba and Preach page or Ethan and Decline page y'all to come in and talk shit, and you guys are doing that. And at that point, it's not even free speech. I just coming in to talk shit. Haters don't deserve free speech.
So it's so funny to me that the people who yap on and yap about freedom of speech and blah blah blah, you peer behind the current and they are just as authoritative as other groups. They will shut you down if they don't like what you're saying.
It costs a lot to run things the way that we do. It's on the low end. It's
costly.
So you want to know what their low end is?
What?
Guess. $70K a month is what they pay.
A month?
Well, considering how many people they have employed under them, it makes sense.
It makes sense.
You know how much these guys were making a month back at the height of?
Go ahead.
$225.
A month?
Yep. They were making
Ooh,
huge profits. You know, they got these
225,000
every
a
single
month.
So they're probably making a lot of money, right? Good. Demonetization happens, everything disappears.
I haven't even made $25 a month off my streams.
Nope, they making pennies.
Dudes
on
are
that.
making almost $250,000 a month.
They went
That's
from
nuts.
being in the green by a lot to now they're in the red every single month by a pretty large margin, and now they're feeling the pressure. So all the people at home who say, "Oh, demonetization doesn't work," that's not been my experience. I've been spoken to people who have been demonetized.
It's either A, we just stop doing the podcast all fucking together, or we put stuff behind a paywall and we can continue things as we were doing.
Losing close to I would say 75, sometimes to 60% of their total income.
Sneeko
And even when
is
they go
on there
behind a
too.
paywall, yeah, they might transfer a substantial amount of their fan base depending on the fans. But the other thing is, they're no
Sneeko's another fucking degenerate I can't stand. I don't even know how they got all these big ass fan bases, man. This shit is crazy.
longer being recommended by any of the algorithms. So they no longer go viral on YouTube. They no longer are in the talking space for a lot. That's why you see this guy doing all these collabs. He's feeling the effects of the poor decisions he's made. So now he's trying to recoup it any way he can. So I'm not saying demonetization is a good or a bad thing. That's not the point. I'm just speaking strictly to people who think it doesn't work. You're wrong. It does work. Okay? And no matter how much these people say they're in it for the message, the truth is they're here for the money. Without the money, they're not going to stick around.
You know, everyone sits there and says, oh, you know, freedom of speech, we're tired of censorship, etc. Hey, man, this is how we fight back against censorship. This is how we fight back against big tech. This is how we fight back against all these guys that want to censor us and demonetize us and deplatform us and cancel us for having a different viewpoint.
It's not censorship. If someone says, I don't want to pay you, they didn't even delete these guys' channel. They said, based off how you're acting, we don't want to run ads on you because it looks poor on the products that we sell.
And we don't want to give you.
So why should I pay you when it's going to hurt my business? So they said, you want to keep your content on here, you can keep it on here, but we'll no longer prioritize you because you hurt our business. And then people are talking about free speech, free speech. What business has a duty to give you money when you hurt their business? YouTube does not make most of its money from commentary. It does not make most of its money from dating content. That's not where it makes its money. It makes its money from makeup, tech, and kid stuff. So all the people doing kids reviews, toys reviews, whatever the fuck kids reviews sounds crazy.
Shit, I was even thinking about doing that. Like, I was even thinking about doing like paired streams with my daughter and having her like me and her play games that, you know, and do stuff more geared towards children, just because that's like huge. It's huge on YouTube. So yeah, there might be some streams that you see my daughter pop up in that we play some games together and stuff. You know, down the road.
Hey, yo.
Kids review is wild.
No Diddy.
Have you tried this little for you?
Yo.
Hey.
Illuminati confirmed.
Yeah.
Damn, they caught me slipping.
God damn.
Is my lizard skin showing? All right, listen. Well, Elizabeth.
The queen.
Yes, fellow Elizabeth.
No, she's not dead. She's shedding skin.
She said her skin.
She's shedding skin.
Yeah. Shout out to Lizzie, bro. She doing her thing.
Doing her thing.
One day I want to just go up to one of the princes and be like, yo, you know about your grandma? They're like, no. I'm like, the block is hot, your grandma's not.
That's what you did there, because the reptilian.
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Bars. Anyways, back to the topic.
Oh,
Your
man.
block is hot,
Your grandma's not. Double entendre.
Fucking Abba and
Don't worry, I got
Preach,
you, bro.
man.
Yeah.
Fucking love Abba
Fine,
and
don't
Preach,
worry.
man.
As
They're
soon as Kendrick
fucking
dropped that last
funny
diss,
as
I
hell.
got you. Let me carry the torch. That's it, bro. You gotta let him know that we don't just be rep by Drake. Canada got some new blood in town.
That's the only bar I've ever let you spit like that.
Yeah. I got some other ones.
Because you said that and you quit.
If you're watching this, I want you to understand your value and what you bring to whatever you're contributing to. That will make you understand how much leverage you have in any kind of negotiations or discussions in place. Creators who do a lot of makeup or tech stuff are going to have way more leeway with YouTube rather than controversial creators who are a brand risk and generally push away advertisers. People want to flock to YouTube and make a career here because there's so much advertiser money, but at the same time, they want to make content that pushes that kind of advertiser away. You got to understand the business strategy. That's it. If you want to have certain kinds of discussions, you may not be able to do it on YouTube because you have to understand the business platform.
I don't really think it's so much that much free speech. There's some things that they said.
So I usually just
we
post
don't
like
articulate it the same way.
gaming
And we have
videos on
nuance when we say- when we
YouTube.
back it up. We just literally just say dumb stuff. We don't go to the extreme of things like at the point like you don't back it up. Which way are you looking at that?
Wait, but the stuff you know
That's
about
what I
dating
use.
apps,
I
What is that
mean,
one
my
that's
whole
for?
thing
Oh,
is like,
the monkey stuff.
The monkey stuff, stuff like that. That's what I'm saying. They went to the
eventually I'll
extreme
get
of
into
some shit
doing
that
like
you
tech
we
stuff
warned
because
you.
I'm like
We
real
warned
big
you.
into like
I
tech.
would want you. I was not believe. I'm not. They're not going to do
As
that.
like
So
a
I'm not
whole
going to be. I'm
broad
not going to stand
view
here
in
and say
my
we.
room.
It wasn't we.
Like I'm really into like
It
tech
was him.
and stuff.
So that stuff was just plain like, come on now, B.
Video
You know what
games,
you did.
current
Didn't
events,
I tell you this was being a
politics.
fresh fit? Oh, didn't I call it, bro?
Yo, the minute man, I'm telling you, the minute they got demonetized, I said, you know what? My bad. Sorry, I doubted you. You was right.
Yeah.
Bitch, you guessed it.
You want to hear the biggest irony of this?
What?
They claim that the meat and potatoes of what they do is like their financial advice, their fitness
It's
stuff.
not. It's
Why do you think they have to pay $70K minimum a month to do this?
Yeah, bring it
to
home.
bring all the girls, to get the security, to set up the 1,000 mics, to do all the crazy stuff that they got to do. If they were just bringing in the dudes to talk about
They
dating, fitness,
wouldn't do shit.
tech,
Yeah, it wouldn't be
finances,
nothing.
crypto scams, which they love, okay? If they were just doing that, do you think the podcast cost $70K a month?
it wouldn't.
Absolutely not. It would cost 1/3 of that. They don't want to downsize, and they don't want to change their business practices because they know what their moneymaker is. The reason they're putting the
Moneymaker's talking on
10 hoes
hoes.
in a mic thing behind a paywall is because they know that's what makes money. They're not putting the other shit behind a paywall because no one will pay for that. People are only watching to see you yell at women.
That's fine, but you gotta lay in your fucking bed and sleep there.
Yeah, Myron made the bed. Now he wants his fans to lie in it with him. One of his favorite pastimes, according to him in his
Yeah,
comments.
see, that's it.
Yeah,
Boys
don't worry, it's not
being
sus,
boys.
guys. It's just boys being boys.
That's what he said.
Those were my teammates. It's not gay. It's just what it is.
gay.
It's just horse around. It's boys being boys, right? Guys being guys.
It's not gay, it's
Come on, you know
horseplay.
what I say?
It's
When
horseplay.
y'all
Kissing
struggle
all
together,
fucking
someone else
dudes
made a
is
stupid decision to pass
horseplay.
themselves
Fucking
green,
dudes is
you get closer by
horseplay.
being in the same bed. Yeah.
Holding
Boys
hands
being
and cuddling in bed
boys.
is with
Huh?
dudes
You
is
want to do a little
horseplay.
prank, you know what I'm saying? Eat somebody's ass.
Boys being
Yeah.
boys.
This is making sure you're not constipated. You can't let the homie just die from keeping all that gas inside. You know, if anything, it's sad because look at it this way. A bunch of people about to lose their salaries and lose their livelihood, okay? Because one person couldn't control their temper. And you know, to some degree, these people are also complicit in this because when he was doing his dumb shit, they were egging him on. So you know what? Actually, it's not safe. Everybody can hold an L. He can hold an L for being a bad leader, and you guys can hold an L for not being the good kind of friends who tell somebody they're going too far, they're going too far, and they're
Yeah.
going to hurt the business.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I distinctly remember somebody saying, "We're better than you niggas."
We are better than you niggas. Period.
Well,
But they quit it, right?
but they did. No, they did lap us. In terms of L's,
Oh. In terms of L's, yeah.
jabs. We're stationary.
Great King.
Ref, easy peasy lemon.
I'm pretty sure they were supposed to campus.
They were supposed- yeah, they were supposed to.
They're better than us.
Yes.
Is. They get more money than us.
Yes.
Is. We were behind them. According to them, we were making videos about them because they were hot. They were the hot topic.
We're trending, man. Yeah, we're popular right now. But then I did, as always, men lie, women lie, numbers don't, right? And then I thought to myself, why would they bring this up now? Chris, can you show Exhibit A real fast? So let's see here. Let's see. These guys have almost 1 million more subs than us, guys. All right. So we're the blue line. We're the blue line. They're the red. They have 1.38, which is 1,380,000 subscribers. Guys, we only have 430,000 subscribers. Okay, we have literally like less than 1/3 of their joint, right? And we got 20 million views, and they got 14.9 million views. Ouch. very interesting for you guys to go ahead and make a video insulting us months after the fact. I wonder why. Oh, it's because we're hotter than you guys right now.
But now they like pretty much done. Why they're about to quit? We're still making videos. Why are we doing videos about to be irrelevant?
Because we can.
Yeah, I need some liquor. I'm about to do a two-step on somebody's grave here.
I need that for somebody's grave.
I need some liquor. I'm about to go two-step
I
on
had so many
someone's
people that
grave.
go, man, I want you guys to reconcile with Fresh Fit. Y'all don't know me, okay? If I don't fuck with you, I don't fuck with you. And that's not gonna change. And you can mark my words. And I hope everyone unsubscribes if I ever change my mind, okay? All right. Also, guys, check out our second channel, I'm Preaching the Floor, where we get twice as many views as Fresh and Fit on our second channel. We killing it over there.
That's disrespectful.
Videos are getting 500K. The second channel's doing well.
It's doing good.
It's doing good.
It's doing good.
So if you want to see more of the cut stuff, more leisure stuff, more fun stuff, go over there.
More stream. That's why I stream. So go watch it. I stream there.
Also, one more thing to know, we got a Discord and a Reddit. Go check those out. We get a lot of our topics there. I play video games and D&D in there every now and then. Preach be popping in once in a blue moon, so go check it out.
Boom.
And none of it's behind the paywall.
Oh, wow. Well,
None of it's behind a paywall. Oh, wow. Wow. Fresh and Fit are struggling. Yeah, this Ricada Law shit, man. Oh my God, Ricada. That shit. Oof. Ugh. But I think that's it. There's nothing really else I wanted to watch. And talk about or talk about. That's pretty much it. Fresh and Fit business. And then the David David Menser press briefing. That's pretty much all I wanted to cover. Yeah, and I don't know, I might be back in a little bit for a video game stream. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to or not. I got invited to playtest Body Cam, so I was thinking about maybe streaming that. But I'm not 100% sure. And if not, I will definitely be back tomorrow with a game stream, and I don't know. That's about it, though. Thanks for being here with me. It's a short little stream. And I love you all. And take care and good night if I don't see you again.